Hello, thanks for your content. I find it helpful. Thank you very much. You recently had a post where you answered a question about lending 25,000 to a friend and not getting it back, where you referred to the court and the possibility to win the case. Could you please clarify if the friend who originally lent the money will face consequences in the court? So what this topic refers to is perhaps two things. One is loaning money and the underlying contract or lack thereof, on the basis of which you may potentially want to enforce your rights. And the other aspect of it is loaning money with interest. So let's kind of break it up, and let me start with the first one. So the previous video that you referred to covered ultimately just the simple exchange of a friend loaning money to another, and then it's that loan is not being repaid. What can you do? So the context of that particular video was about, well, if you don't have documentation, it's very difficult to prove that particular contract in court. That's not to say that it's unenforceable. It's just more about the evidence that you have or do not have, on the basis of which you would try to prove your rights on that particular loan. So if it's in a friendly exchange from a friend to a friend, apart perhaps from a WhatsApp message, you may not have anything else to prove the loan. That being said, depending on the extent of the WhatsApp message, depending on the extent of other communication that may exist, that particular loan or repayment of the loan is enforceable. Now, the other aspect of that loan is if you loan money to a friend with interest. And that, by the way, I've done a recent video on that particular topic, and that's private lending. That's sort of the topic that perhaps relates to this first subject. And that's, can you lend money with interest? So the short of it is no. In the UAE, that's not allowed unless you're properly licensed. Because ultimately, when you lend money with interest, what do? You're engaging in what's called financial activities. Financial activities are highly regulated, not just in the UAE, but in other countries, but certainly in the UAE. So therefore, unless you have a license as a financial activities, you legally do not have the right to lend money with interest. And there's two aspects to that kind of lending. One is that it's not enforceable. So if you have a contract, even if you have a contract, a very detailed, sophisticated contract, but if it has an interest component, if you try to enforce that particular contract, the court will, at a high level, in simple terms, deem that contract invalid or unenforceable. Two, and even perhaps the second aspect of it that's perhaps a little more alarming, is that under the UAE Penal Code or criminal law, loaning money with interest can also be deemed as a criminal activity. So be very mindful, and and just when you do lend money, if it's to a friend, then lend money with the kind of manage your expectations as to what your options may be if the friend does not pay that money back, and if it's at a more of perhaps like a more commercial or business level where you are loaning money to businesses and you're expecting interest in return, be mindful that from a legal standpoint, those kind of agreements are unenforceable. As I say that, I'm fully aware that it's a very common scheme in the UAE, in Dubai, where businesses and individuals loan money to sort of fund businesses and help their friends and such. And a lot of the time, these loans have fairly significant interest. I'm fully aware that they exist. I am telling you from a legal standpoint, if you have an issue, if that loan does not get repaid, you will have a very hard time getting it enforced in court. Now, there's two aspects to that as well. The repayment of the loan itself is enforceable because it's based, but on a different agreement. It's not under the contract law, but rather again under sort of what's called the unjust enrichment concept, legal concept. So the principal will be returned or will be enforceable, but the interest will not be.